Hello, friend. So what is shadow? Let's really dive into the mechanics of this so that there's some clarity as to what this all looks like. So first, what's really important is that we always land ourselves in the definition. I think definition is super important for us because it really is our God code. And within this God code lies our intrinsic decision-making strategy. This is where, our decisions can be made. This is how we are designed to interact with other people. And this God code provides us with our fixedness. This is really what we can be solid in. This is why people come to us, because they want that information. We're carrying that information, okay? And it's opposite of what they are. So we're attracting in what isn't us. They are attracting in what isn't them. So fixedness, definition, always important. We always have to land in the strategy and authority, taking the decision-making away from the mind and dropping it into the physicality of the body. Now, whether you are a mental projector, advisor, or an evaluator / reflector, it is still a physical body process that's taking place when you're making decisions. It is not about the mind. The mind is there for everyone else, and we're going to get into that a little bit. So now let's really drop into this shadow so that we can drop into the mechanics of this, okay? Anything that is white is the shadow of the design. So we have gates, we have channels, we have full centers, we have undefined centers, anything that's white. And then also remember, for me, this 36 gate only has one line quality in my body graph. So there is still a plethora of openness that can also be experienced there as well. I have one little tiny aspect of that is the fixedness, okay? So now let's comprehend something here. Shadow is not something to get rid of. Shadow has to live in harmony with you. Why? Well, this is where we are attracting all of our wisdom. The openness is the place where people, relationships, co-workers, maybe just people we meet on the street, clients, lovers, all of this is attracted to us through this openness. Now, what happens is sometimes there's very traumatic experiences that also are attracted to us. And they get in. Those traumatic situations get in through the openness. Now, are you attracting that? I'm not saying there's no fault here. It's just how the mechanics work. So there is no fault. You're not doing anything wrong. That's just how the experiences get to interact with you, is through the shadow, the openness. The most important piece here is that we can honor all of this openness just as deeply as we can honor the definition. Because without the two aspects, there is really no life. There's no life, there's no experience. So as these experiences come through us, whether that be, other people, information, however it is, as they come through us, the critical piece here is that even with the trauma that can be associated with some of the experiences, that we take those traumatic situations, that we take those experiences, and we have the strength and the ability to turn that into wisdom. Okay? I'm going to give you just a small example here, okay, as we walk through. But the other aspect of this that might twist your mind a little bit is this is where we attract resources. So resources can be money. Resources is also knowledge. Resources is information. resources is other people. So not only do we attract money here, we attract people, we attract information, right? We attract all of this stuff through our openness, through the white in your chart. Now, let me drop into this traumatic situation. I just want to give you just a very brief example so that you understand that I'm not downplaying trauma at all, okay? I just want you to see that all experiences are experiences. So I watched an interview with Elizabeth Smart, and if you don't know who she is, Google her. But she was taken from her home as a young child. She was in captivity. She was mentally, physically, and sexually abused. And the conditioning that happened had her in this lock of this situation. Okay? The conditioning. Remember, I'm going to say that, and then we're going to talk about influence. So the conditioned piece, her mind was conditioned, and she stayed in that situation. She was out in the public. She, she was able to go with her captor. She was out in public, and she never broke away because the conditioned mind had her holding on to the situation, okay? Now, fast forward after she had this moment while she was in captivity to just drop into her body and follow her body, and she got to safety, okay? So once she got to safety, she is now, a grown adult, and she is an advocate for other people that go through traumatic experiences like this. Now, she has had these experiences, she's studied the experiences, she's interviewed people, she's been this advocate for this, and she then has this experience on an airplane where she was sexually abused, again, for the second time. And she froze. There was her light bulb moment. This is what happens when I get in these situations, I freeze. So what she did after that situation is she took that second, I don't know if it's the second traumatic experience or she could have had more. However, she took this second sexual abuse traumatic experience and she empowered herself. She empowered herself to then get into self-defense classes and train her mind to take action versus freezing. So she took that traumatic experience, she took the wisdom of that, she turned it into an empowerment for herself, and then she wrote a book. She advocates, she talks, she does speeches, she does keynote speeches. She's turned all of these situations into resources for herself and others so that everyone can be empowered. So when I have conversations with clients and they want to hold so deeply onto the trauma of a situation, I encourage them to look at the situation and pull the wisdom out of that situation so that they can see that experience instead of as a conditioning experience. It is an experience that influenced that being to empower themselves and share their stories with others so that others can be empowered and so that resources can be attracted. Now remember, resources are money, resources are people, resources are experiences, resources are information, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. So it's not only money. But here's what takes place. We are in this quagmire of oh, shadow, this happened to me, that happened to me, this happened to me, poor me, victimhood, okay? Now, I'm not saying good, bad, otherwise. I just want you to grasp what the conditioned mind will do. It will hold you back. It will continue to run its pattern in your life. It will continue to have you freeze. In the example of Elizabeth Smart, it will continue to freeze the physical body and not allow the physical body to take the correct movement, the correct action. It's a tricky little bastard, that conditioned mind. So we look at the shadow in, spirituality terms, and we want to get rid of it. Embrace it. Love it. Honor it. That is the juiciest, yummiest part of your whole life. Because that's where the experiences come in. That's where the resources come in. That's where the wisdom comes in. So if you want to understand yourself at such a deep level that you can completely recognize when those resources are coming to you, when those experiences are coming to you, when that wisdom is coming to you, I'm starting a course in April. It's called Profit by Design, Living Your Wealth Code. And we go so deep into understanding the shadow, understanding the definition, what is happening here in that shadow? What does that look like? How do we look at it in a way where the resources are coming to us? So definitely sign up. Come on over. Let's get into this. Let's run our lives the way they are designed to be ran. Let's allow for this conditioned mind to just take a breather. Let the healthy psychology stand forefront so that you and I, who are on the leading edge, let me remind you that you are here in human design. Human design is the leading edge. It's a complete system all in itself. On the leading edge, let's change the way we operate. The only way we can swing, bring the pendulum back from the chaos and distraction is to operate correctly so that we can come back to, I can't be in a neutral position. What's important is that, we still play in this, 2-3% off of middle, off of neutrality, because that's where the juiciness really lies. That's where we can see, this beautiful dance. When we're way out here, we have a hard time being able to see it. So let's bring it in. Let's move forward on this leading edge as ourselves. Let's collect the resources that we need to collect and attract to us. I shouldn't say collect. I want to say attract. Attract to us. And then we get to operate this God code, this wealth code, in a way that is so empowering to ourselves. There's so much intrinsic self-love here that we get it. We understand it. We know why we're having those relationships. We know why the resources are here or are not here. We understand the wisdom of it all. So join me, April. It's going to be partially online video content and live sessions, because I think that the application of this information can get very, very, very super heady. But let's drop into the application. Let's be on the leading edge. You and I are right here. And if we don't use this stuff correctly, it's just creating more noise out into the field. So let's do it. Let's do it together. Okay, thanks for being here. If you want to reach me, look below. Please like, share, subscribe. We got to get there, peeps. We got to get there. We are looking at 7 years until the change in that global orchestrated directory is happening. And if we can stand in the truth of this information and the truth of ourselves, There's nothing better. All right. Thank you very much and take care.